Sometimes a story breaks that's more than just gossip. The cameras flash, the crowd freezes, and just like that, Hollywood has a new obsession.
We're talking about a story so big, it's not about a single movie or a hit song.
It's about the very architecture of power itself. Welcome to Starscope Report.
Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today we are scrutinizing a headline that captures it all: the divorce that could rewrite Hollywood power.
We're talking about a conflict involving, well, the invisible hand of Hollywood for the last 50 years.
That hand belongs to David Geffen, and our mission today is to figure out why his very short marriage to Donovan Michaels, also known as David Andrew Armstrong, spiraled into this massive public war.
And the key, as you'll see, comes down to one unbelievable omission:
the complete lack of a prenuptial agreement.
So, to really get the stakes here, you first have to understand the sheer scale of the empire we're talking about. This isn't just some rich guy.
No, not at all. He's often called the architect of pop culture, and that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
Geffen's career is, it's just pure audacity. He started in 1964.
In the mailroom.
Yeah, the mailroom of the William Morris Agency. And the story goes he basically just willed himself into a job. He showed up, told the receptionist he was hired, and just never left.
And he wasn't waiting around for decades to build something. By 1971, he co-founds Asylum Records with Elliot Roberts.
And this wasn't just another label. Asylum became the absolute center of the California singer-songwriter movement.
He signed Joni Mitchell, Jackson Browne.
And the Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles. That signing alone cemented their place in music history almost overnight.
So within a year of starting Asylum, he's already a multimillionaire. In 1972, money.
Right. Generational wealth right there. But he wasn't done. Not even close. In 1980, he starts Geffen Records, and this is where you see him just capture the zeitgeist across, like, every genre.
He signs Donna Summer, John Lennon for his comeback.
And then, years later, he pivots and signs Nirvana, and Guns N' Roses. His instinct for these massive cultural shifts is just, it's completely unparalleled.
That ability to see the folk scene and then the grunge explosion, that tells you everything, and he used that power to move into Hollywood.
Exactly. Geffen Film, he produces huge hits like Risky Business, which, launches Tom Cruise into the stratosphere, and Beetlejuice.
But the real power move, the one that changed everything, came in 1994.
DreamWorks SKG. He partners with Steven Spielberg and Jeffrey Katzenberg. And think about this. They weren't just starting a production company. They were trying to build a brand new major studio from scratch.
It's a titanic ambition. And by 1995, he's a billionaire.
Today, sources put his net worth at around $9 billion.
$9 billion. That number makes him pretty much the wealthiest person in the entire global entertainment industry. That's the empire at stake.
And this is where his public image gets really interesting. It's so dual. On one hand, you have this incredible philanthropist, the great benefactor.
The numbers are staggering.
I mean, we're talking about a $200 million endowment to the UCLA School of Medicine. It's now the David Geffen School of Medicine.
He gave $150 million to the Yale School of Drama, which made it tuition-free.
These are legacy-defining gifts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But then you have the other side of the coin.
Right. Alongside the philanthropist image, there's always been this undercurrent of scrutiny, a perception of ruthlessness.
For sure. You can't talk about Geffen without bringing up the fight over his Malibu compound on Carbon Beach. It was a decades-long battle over public access to the coastline.
Access the public was legally entitled to.
Entitled to, yes. And he fought it tooth and nail. It gave him this reputation for being incredibly territorial, protective of his private world.
And what really stands out, especially when you think about the divorce claims, is that incident during the COVID lockdown in 2020.
Oh, the yacht picture.
The yacht picture. He posts this photo from his 453-foot super yacht, the Rising Sun, saying he's self-isolating with his 45-person crew.
It was just so tone-deaf, a perfect stark visual of wealth and complete detachment from what the rest of the world was going through. It really crystallized that image of a man living on a totally different plane of existence.
An existence insulated by billions, and that insulation was about to get a major test.
Which brings us to the marriage. Geffen, who famously dated Cher in the 70s and came out as gay in 1992, marries Donovan Michaels, or David Andrew Armstrong, in 2023.
And the age gap here is significant. Geffen was in his early 80s, Armstrong in his early 30s.
A huge gap. And the marriage itself was incredibly brief, less than 2 years. They separated in February 2025, and Geffen filed for divorce a few months later.
Okay, so here it is. The detail that turns a simple split into a potential financial catastrophe. Geffen, a man whose whole career is built on calculating risk.
Had no prenuptial agreement,
No prenup.
which is just, it's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Why would one of the most financially savvy people on the planet skip that basic safeguard?
Was it an oversight? Or was he so confident in the relationship?
Whatever the reason, that decision opened the door to a full-blown financial war. And that's not even the wildest part. If you're finding these twists fascinating, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even more stories coming your way.
So that door swings wide open in July 2025. This isn't just a standard divorce filing. Armstrong, represented by the litigator Brian Friedman, files a civil lawsuit.
A scorching civil lawsuit on top of the divorce. And the claims were clearly designed to be as damaging as possible to Geffen's reputation.
Armstrong alleged the whole relationship started transactionally. He claimed they met on seekingarrangements.com.
And that Geffen paid him $10,000 for sex on their first night together.
But he didn't stop there. The lawsuit's core was about emotional and financial exploitation. Armstrong claimed Geffen saw him as a prop.
Just a prop in a sick game, a sexual commodity. And here's where the narrative is really powerful.
He claimed Geffen weaponized his past trauma as a former foster kid.
Yeah, weaponized it for Geffen's own personal gratification and public image. He also claimed Geffen promised to share everything, all earnings and property, and support him for life.
Which, he says, is why he gave up his modeling career.
This is a direct missile aimed at the image of the philanthropist. It's a claim that, if it went to a civil trial, could lead to massive, completely uncapped damages against Geffen.
Geffen's response was immediate and incredibly aggressive. He brought in the biggest legal guns in L.A.
Laura Wasser for the divorce, Patty Glazer for the civil suit.
Yeah.
They called the whole thing a ludicrous shakedown attempt.
Geffen's team flat out denied any promise of lifelong support, pointing to his long-established estate plan as proof.
But then the defense pivots into a counterattack, a really aggressive one. They basically claim that Armstrong was the one being opportunistic.
That he was just using Geffen for money. The court filings detailed unlimited spending.
On clothes, cosmetic procedures, extravagant trips all over the world, all while just feigning interest in Geffen.
And the counterclaims got incredibly specific. Geffen's team alleged Armstrong spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on OnlyFans.
And on male prostitutes. They also brought up alleged illicit drug use, ketamine, and cocaine, claiming it continued even after Geffen paid for treatment.
So both sides were clearly ready for a scorched earth PR war. It was a high-stakes legal gamble.
Absolutely. Armstrong was risking public backlash for making these salacious claims, hoping for a huge payout from a jury, and Geffen was risking his entire legacy to fight what he saw as extortion.
But then the story takes a sharp turn. Later in the episode, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming.
In October 2025, just a few months after filing that explosive lawsuit, Armstrong does a complete 180.
He drops it. He drops the entire civil lawsuit.
That move, dropping the exploitation and fraud claims, was a massive retreat. He went from potentially demanding billions in civil court to something else entirely.
He agreed to resolve everything quietly in private divorce mediation.
And this is the key legal move that contained the damage for Geffen. That civil suit carried the risk of a jury trial, punitive damages, the kind of thing that could genuinely rewrite power.
By dropping it, Armstrong took that massive threat off the table.
Right. And in California, divorce mediation for a short-term marriage, you're only really talking about two things: community property acquired during the marriage.
Which would be minimal after only 23 months.
Exactly. And spousal support.
And for a marriage this short in California, the rule of thumb is support for about half the length of the marriage.
So given the 23-month marriage, Armstrong would only be entitled to support for roughly 1 year.
That's the firewall. That's what protects a multi-billionaire's fortune, even without a prenup in a short marriage. The legal system itself contained the exposure.
And if you look at where things are now, Geffen has paid Armstrong $200,000 since the split. He's also covering his $15,000 a month rent for an apartment in New York.
And the marriage itself is set to be officially terminated on November 24th. The final numbers are all being handled under a private written agreement.
So you have this incredible collision, the immense power of this $9 billion empire against these raw public accusations of exploitation.
And for a moment, the financial risk was astronomical. But in the end, the legal strategy just contained it.
It really underscores the reality of these power dynamics. Despite the no prenup vulnerability, despite the PR damage, the legal structure of a short marriage and Geffen's aggressive counter-strategy just limited the financial fallout.
Which leaves us with a final, provocative thought for you. Despite all the public airing of private vices, the transactional claims, the drug use allegations, the whole mess, what does it really tell you about power?
What does it tell you that the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA, a legacy built on one of the largest donations ever, remains completely untouched and is his most enduring public mark?
While the entire messy personal drama of its benefactor is legally confined to about a year's worth of spousal support.
It raises a really important question about how history weighs legacy built with money against the perception of personal conduct, especially when billions of dollars are on the line.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.